Leo, my radiant soul of the sun. What if I told you that a major financial shift is already in motion and that it's not a matter of if, but when it lands right at your feet? This week, from July 14th to July 20th, the universe is aligning something extraordinary for you, a surge of abundance, opportunity, and magnetic power. And whether you realize it or not, you're no longer the same person you used to be. You're not chasing success anymore. You're becoming the kind of person that success naturally gravitates toward. This reading is not just a prediction. It's a confirmation that a big financial breakthrough is coming, and your entire energetic field is already calling it in. Now, I know you didn't click this video by accident. Nothing about this moment is random. There's a reason why your path led you here, to these words, to this channel, to this sacred space. Because when the soul is ready, the message finds its way. You are here because you're being prepared not just to receive more money, but to rise into a version of yourself that can hold more freedom, more peace, more purpose. And let me be clear, Leo, this isn't about hustling harder or proving your worth. It's about returning to what's always been true, that you are meant to lead, to inspire, to shine, and yes, to thrive abundantly. This week's energy is powered by the Strength card and the Queen of Pentacles, a divine combination of inner courage and outer manifestation. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself. You've already done the inner work. Now it's about stepping into the material rewards unapologetically and without fear. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is, are you willing to finally say yes to the version of you that doesn't settle anymore? If this message is speaking to you right now, if your body feels that subtle vibration of truth, I invite you to drop a comment below and say, I am ready to receive big money and rise into my highest self. Let this be your anchor. Let it be your declaration. And before we begin, allow me to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every comment, every like, every share, every subscription brings you closer to the heart of this community we're building here at Eternal Mindfulness. You are not just a viewer. You are a part of a growing circle of awakened souls, stepping into their power and rewriting their destiny. So trust me when I say, you're going to want to stay until the very end of this video. Because what the universe is about to reveal is nothing short of miraculous. Now take a breath. Come back into your body. And ask yourself, what part of you knew that today something was going to shift? Let's begin. What you are stepping into this week, dear Leo, is not just another wave of routine energy, it is a call to reawaken the sleeping lion within. The Strength card doesn't merely speak to courage as the world sees it. It whispers of a deeper force, one that arises when the heart leads the mind, when restraint becomes a form of power, and when your quiet presence is louder than noise. In a world where force is often mistaken for influence, you are being shown that true mastery begins within. This is the kind of strength that does not fight, but dissolves resistance by embodying clarity. As the Queen of Pentacles enters the energetic stage beside Strength, the message becomes even more vivid. Now is the time to come back into balance with the physical world, not from fear or lack, but from care and intention. She invites you to tend to your material realm the way a gardener nurtures sacred ground, with patience, discernment, and love. Your finances, your body, your home, your craft, these are not distractions from your spiritual journey. They are the very ground that holds it. They are vessels through which your inner radiance takes form. There is a teaching that says, when the bowl is cracked, it cannot hold the water. In the same way, if our outer life is unstable or neglected, the deeper spiritual clarity we receive will simply drain away. That is why this week, Leo, you are being invited to strengthen your container, to reorganize, to simplify, to come back to the structure that allows your creativity, your passion, and yes, your abundance to flow consistently. So ask yourself gently, what in my life is ready for refinement? What area have I neglected because I feared it made me too ordinary, too responsible, too earthly? Because here's the paradox: when you own your physical reality, you actually elevate your spiritual influence. Leo, you are being positioned to lead not just in energy, but in form. Not just through your words, but through the way you manage your time, your money, your energy. This is an ideal week to reinvest in yourself, take a course, upgrade a skill, revisit an old talent that still sparks joy. It is also a powerful time to create boundaries around how you spend and share your resources. Your generosity is one of your greatest traits, but generosity, without structure, leads to depletion. What you give should be chosen, not drained. Practically speaking, this week supports any effort you make toward financial clarity. Create a spending map, separate personal and business accounts, track how money enters and leaves your life, not to control it, but to communicate with it. Money, like all energy, responds to attention. And where your attention flows, manifestation follows. And then, stillness. Even 5 minutes a day to breathe into your center, to touch that calm space between thoughts, will help you reconnect with what is truly valuable. Use the mantra, I create from calm, not from chaos. This gentle discipline will return you to sovereignty. From that place, everything shifts. You may even feel an old dream stirring, something you once believed in, but tucked away because life became too loud. Listen. That dream may be ready to return, not in the form it once took, but in a richer, more grounded way. You are not chasing that dream anymore. You are becoming the kind of person that dream naturally belongs to. This is not about proving your worth to the world. It's about remembering that you already have value, simply because you are here, breathing, choosing again. You do not need to roar to be heard. Your energy is speaking volumes. Trust that. And let this week be a quiet return to power your power. When the Ten of Pentacles and Ace of Wands appear together in a reading, something profound is unfolding, not just in the material realm, but in your inner landscape as well. Leo, this isn't simply about money landing in your account. It's about the arrival of a season where your inner readiness meets the world's response. Big money, in its most aligned form, is never truly earned through force. It flows toward you when your energy becomes a safe place for abundance to land. And this week, that's exactly what's happening. Your frequency is rising to meet the level of the opportunities that are already searching for you. The Ten of Pentacles speaks of wealth that endures, not a fleeting windfall, but a foundational blessing. It carries the essence of generational success, legacy, and the kind of prosperity that not only provides for you but echoes through the lives of others. It reminds us that money is not just currency, it is continuity. It is the ability to build, to sustain, to share. Paired with the Ace of Wands, this promise becomes even more alive. This ace is the spark, the divine ignition of creativity, purpose, and bold action. And when it shows up with the Ten of Pentacles, it tells a story, the seeds you once planted, the ideas you once doubted, the risks you almost didn't take are now ready to reward you. Still, what makes this message different, what makes it sacred is this: you do not need to chase this blessing. The very moment you stop gripping and start allowing, the path clears. That's the paradox of abundance. In one teaching, there is an image of a person holding their hands tightly closed, desperate to hold on to a single coin. But their hands are so clenched, they cannot receive the full basket being offered to them. This week invites you to open your hands. To let go of old stories like, money is hard, I don't deserve it, or, it never lasts. These are not truths. They are habits of thought. And they can be unlearned. You may start noticing little signs, waking up early with new energy, receiving a message that seems out of nowhere, or repeatedly seeing angel numbers like 88, 1111, or 444. These are not coincidences. They are markers. Moments where the universe whispers, pay attention, it's coming. Trust those nudges. Follow them. Because the opportunities arriving now are not just financial in nature, they are soul-aligned. They are the kind of openings that bring both profit and purpose. One powerful practice this week is to begin your money journal. Write as if the abundance has already arrived. Say things like, I am so grateful for the unexpected $10,000 that just flowed into my life, or, I love how supported I feel by the financial freedom I now have. This is not delusion. This is preparation. This is tuning your emotional system to match the vibration of what you're calling in. Another helpful step is to create a visual board, not just with numbers, but with feelings. What does financial freedom feel like in your body? What colors do you associate with wealth? What kind of movement do you want to experience when you're fully supported? And perhaps most importantly, remember this: money is not outside of your spiritual path. It is an expression of it. When handled with love, clarity, and purpose, wealth becomes a form of compassion. It allows you to give, to rest, to choose, and that is a deeply powerful form of healing. If the mind says, this is too good to be true, gently smile at it, and return to your knowing, this is not too good to be true. This is what happens when I stop resisting the good I deserve. So let the river flow. Let the energy move. Big money is not a fantasy, it is a mirror. And right now, Leo, you're finally ready to see what you've become. Sometimes, the most unexpected messengers arrive not in the form of strangers, but as echoes from our past, and this week, dear Leo, the Knight of Wands carries that energy. When this card rides into your reading, it does so with fire, urgency, momentum, and unfinished business. But this is not a loop designed to pull you backward. This is a moment of reflection that exists to reveal how far you've come. A person from your past may reappear, not to unsettle you, but to serve as a mirror. Whether it's a former collaborator, a past lover, or someone who once influenced your path, they are not returning to test you, they are returning to awaken you. There's something poetic about how life brings us back to the people or places we thought we had outgrown, only to show us the strength we didn't know we had. The truth is, this encounter is not about them. It's about you. Because when you meet them now, you meet them as someone new. Not because they changed, but because you did. You are no longer in the energy of needing to be chosen, validated, or saved. You stand differently. You see more clearly. And that shift in posture changes everything. The invitation here is not necessarily to re-enter the connection, but to examine what it still holds within you. Is there a remnant of grief left unprocessed? A spark of creativity left unexplored? A boundary never spoken aloud? Now is the time to address it, not by forcing resolution, but by standing in full awareness of your growth. Sometimes, clarity doesn't come with closure. It comes with compassion, the kind you offer yourself when you realize you no longer need what you once begged for. This is a powerful moment to reconnect with your inner fire, not through confrontation, but through courage. The courage to speak your truth without guilt. The courage to decline what no longer nourishes you. The courage to forgive without forgetting the wisdom you earned. In one ancient teaching, there is a metaphor of the lotus, a flower that blooms unsoiled in muddy water. This metaphor reminds us that beauty doesn't always come from purity, it often comes from endurance, from being willing to face the discomfort and still choose to rise. Energetically, you may notice a surge restlessness, flashes of old memories, even dreams of people you haven't thought about in years. These are signs that your subconscious is clearing something deeply rooted. Don't fear them. Witness them. And more importantly, listen to what they stir in you. Are you still seeking answers from someone else, or are you ready to trust the truth that already lives within you? To help integrate this moment, try visualizing a warm orange light, the color of vitality, creativity, and emotional release surrounding your chest as you breathe deeply. Imagine this light softening any sharp edges in your heart, dissolving what no longer needs to be held. You can also write a letter to this person, not to send, but to release. Let it be raw, honest, unfiltered. Let it be your bridge between then and now. Above all, remember this: sometimes people return not to stay, but to remind us of the person we've become in their absence. The offer they bring may involve collaboration, reconciliation, or simply a moment of reflection. Regardless of the form, the choice will be yours. And this time, you won't be deciding from fear or longing, but from clarity and self-respect. You have nothing to prove anymore. Not to them. Not to the past. Not even to yourself. The door that opens now is not the same one you once closed. It leads somewhere entirely new, and you are finally ready to walk through it. The appearance of the Five of Wands and the Tower together marks a pivotal juncture in your journey, one that asks not for more effort, but for more honesty. Leo, as someone naturally attuned to power, pride, and passion, it can be difficult to admit when something or someone you've invested in is no longer aligned. But these two cards don't show up to punish or punish, they show up as liberators. They are the necessary lightning and the inner unrest that reveal what can no longer stay standing if you're to truly grow. The Five of Wands is rarely about outside conflict alone. More often, it speaks to the inner friction that arises when your truth is trying to speak but keeps getting drowned out by obligation, fear, or old roles you've outgrown. Maybe you've been holding space for others while quietly suppressing your needs. Maybe you've tolerated subtle competition, jealousy, or criticism, hoping things would shift with time. Maybe you've been working in an environment that drains your light, convincing yourself that your passion is enough to survive the tension. But when this card appears with the Tower, the message is clear. Something foundational must be released, not because it was wrong to begin with, but because it has simply run its course. Imagine a tree growing inside a pot. At some point, no matter how rich the soil or how much sun it receives, the roots will begin to press against the edges. Not because the tree is weak, but because it's meant for more. The tower is the moment the pot cracks. And although it may feel destabilizing, the truth is you've outgrown the container. That relationship, that dynamic, that environment, it cannot hold you anymore. And that's not a failure. That's evolution. Sometimes we fear release because we mistake it for loss. But release is simply space-making. And when it's done with presence, it becomes a sacred act of renewal. One teaching reminds us that suffering does not come from the things themselves, but from our resistance to their impermanence. What we cling to tightens around us, and what we gently let go of returns as wisdom. So this week, you are being asked to pause and observe. Where is the friction in your life calling for your attention? What no longer fits? Not just emotionally, but energetically. If a certain connection makes you shrink, compete, justify, or hide, then perhaps it's time to create space. Not to punish them. Not to prove a point. But to protect your frequency. Because your growth is sacred. And sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is walk away from what can't walk beside you. Practical healing starts small. Write down 5 things that you intuitively feel ready to release. They don't have to be dramatic or final. Even small habits, beliefs, or conversations you've been avoiding can clear room for clarity. Set energetic boundaries by declaring your inner space non-negotiable. And gently pull your attention away from comparison, criticism, or chaos, especially on digital platforms. Not because the world is negative, but because your nervous system deserves peace. There is a law of flow. Water cannot enter a vessel that's already full of debris. In the same way, abundance, creativity, and new relationships cannot enter if you are still holding on to something that belongs to a past version of you. Clearing is not about subtraction. It's about sacred preparation. And when done with intention, you're not left with emptiness, you're left with space to finally breathe, to receive, to become. When the chariot appears alongside the sun, it is not simply a message about movement, it is a revelation that the path ahead is finally clearing because you have stopped hesitating and started remembering. Leo, this moment is less about making a decision and more about honoring the decision that life already made through you. You are no longer standing at the edge of possibility. You are being invited to step fully into it. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't just a step forward. It's a quantum shift, a leap into a reality that aligns with your highest rhythm, one that no longer reflects who you were, but amplifies who you're becoming. The chariot is a symbol of focus and direction, but in esoteric traditions, it's also the vehicle of the awakened will, the moment when inner mastery translates into outer momentum. It doesn't just represent success through action, it represents the ability to move through obstacles not by force, but by clarity. The sun, shining at its side, is your cosmic affirmation. It reflects not only the light you carry but the joy that comes from aligning with your truth. It is the warmth of embodiment, a life that not only works but feels good because it is finally built on authenticity. There is a profound teaching that says all transformation begins when you stop trying to perfect the world around you and instead allow your inner world to become the source of your direction. This is exactly what the chariot and the sun ask of you now. You are being called to take action, not from urgency, not from fear of missing out, but from a place of spiritual maturity that understands the value of your energy and the importance of choosing environments, projects, and people that reflect that value back to you. This week, everything points to one sacred question. What are you building now that your heart is no longer confused? For some, it will look like relocating not just geographically, but vibrationally. Leaving a role, a routine, or a story that no longer fits. For others, it will mean launching something you've been holding back, perhaps out of fear that it wasn't ready or that you weren't. But readiness, as one ancient master taught, is not a place you arrive at. It's a state you choose. And you are being encouraged now to choose it, to move even with trembling hands, to trust the momentum that's been building behind the scenes of your life. If you've been waiting for a sign to act, let this be it. Begin with small movements that carry great intention. Write down 3 inspired ideas and begin one today, not for perfection, but for momentum. Reach out to someone you respect and seek guidance. Your next steps don't have to be taken alone. And if you've never allowed your work or your presence to become a brand, a beacon, this may be the season to start. Not because you want attention, but because your light is now strong enough to lead others. Above all, understand that a new timeline opens when you do. The universe doesn't force transformation, it responds to it. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are holding the key. And all it asks is that you're brave enough to turn it. Behind that door, joy, power, abundance, and a life that feels like sunlight in your bones. So ask yourself gently, are you willing to move, to say yes, to become the version of you that the future has been waiting for? Because it's no longer a matter of potential, it's a matter of presence. And your presence is finally aligned with the life you deserve. Leo, you have come far enough that there's no need to look back. You've walked through enough shadows to no longer be afraid of your own light. And now, in this exact moment, you're standing on the edge of something bigger, not just financially, not just emotionally, but cosmically. What this week offers is not simply material gain. It is a reclamation of something much deeper, your role as a conscious creator of your destiny. Perhaps, for a long time, you believed you had to fight to be seen. Maybe you thought success had to be earned through constant striving, that love needed to be proven, that abundance was something reserved for others. But what if that belief was never yours to carry? What if, right now, the only thing the universe is waiting for is for you to stop waiting and start allowing? Because the truth is, you're not the same person you were even 6 months ago. The dreams that once felt far now live closer to your breath. The version of you that doubted, delayed, or dimmed their light. That version has given way to a wiser, braver, more anchored self. And it's that self, the one who has done the work, who has listened to the quiet nudges, who is no longer afraid to take up space, who is now ready to receive. So I invite you to pause, even just for a moment, and ask yourself, what does it feel like to know that your time has finally come? Can you sense the energy shifting around you? Can you feel the opportunities pulling toward your magnetic field because you've finally made room for them, not just in your schedule, but in your spirit? Let this not be just another message you hear. Let it become a shift you embody. If any part of this video resonated with you, I encourage you to act on it. Write that idea down, speak that truth aloud, follow through on that quiet instinct. You don't need to do it all at once. But start. Movement, even gentle, is a signal to the universe that you're ready for more. And as you move forward, carry these affirmations like inner fire. I am a magnet for wealth, love, and aligned opportunity. I am ready to live the life I once only dreamed of and more. If these words feel true to you, comment below and declare it. I am ready to receive money and fully live my destiny. Because your voice, your choice to declare what you're ready for is powerful. It signals to the universe that you're not hiding anymore. Thank you for being here with me, for choosing to tune into your light through this message. Every like, every comment, every subscription not only strengthens our connection, it expands the reach of this sacred space we're creating here at Eternal Mindfulness. Your support allows me to continue delivering these messages that are not just forecasts, but mirrors reflections of who you truly are when you strip away fear and return to your knowing. And believe me, beloved Leo, you will want to stay close in the weeks ahead. Because what the universe is preparing to unveil will exceed anything you thought possible. But for now, take a breath. Come home to your center. And ask yourself one final question. Who am I, now that I've stopped pretending to be anything less than who I truly am? Your answer, your next step is already unfolding. Keep going. You're not alone. You're exactly where you're meant to be.